What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast and Evergrande. I don't know if you guys have been aware of what's happening with Evergrande. Evergrande is the equivalent to Lehman Brothers here in the U.S., and we know the history of what happened in the 2000 financial crisis. For those of you who don't know, the Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy, and that was basically the domino effect that set off the 2008 financial crisis. And there was, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae as well, of other ones that were going through some issues, and they had to do with, I believe, uh, uh, mortgage loans. And so here we see Evergrande's basically the equivalent of that. And here it says why the Chinese property giant is close to collapse. And now, folks, this could be a domino effect that really sends waves across, first of all, the Chinese economy and possibly the world. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on this. But here we see the article says China Evergrande, once the country's second largest real estate developer, is drowning in debt. Some 1.5 million people have put deposits on new homes that have yet to be built. A collapse could be catastrophic. And here we see that that it is under tremendous pressure and may not be able to meet its crippling debt obligations. Over the past 2 days, angry protesters have gathered outside the real estate's firm headquarters, demanding to know about its future. Investors are growing increasingly nervous that if Evergrande were to collapse, this could spread to other property developers and create systemic risk for the banking system of the world's second largest economy. Now, folks, that would be because we're in a debt bubble. Okay, everything we do is based off of debt, and we know debt is associated to slave money. Okay, if you have debt, you're a slave to that debt. And if something were to happen where it collapses or it goes bankrupt like Lehman Brothers, it could have serious systemic risks for the economy and for the banking system. So this could be something that sets precedent for this next crisis that we're going into. Whether it does or not, to be determined. But I think that it's interesting that this is happening right now. Here's another article about it. It says, as China Evergrande's debt crisis deepens, unpaid small business owners speak of despair. Now, tell me this doesn't sound like 2008. Okay? It says, China Evergrande Group settled with more than $3 billion in total liabilities, which is equivalent to 2% of China's GDP, is in the throes of a liquidity crisis that is scrambling to raise funds to pay its many lenders and suppliers. Wu 35 has one of around 100 protesters who descended on the headquarters of the country's number 2 real estate developer. We're working for Evergrande, so our suppliers trusted us with materials without paying us up front. Now they're suing me. Courts have frozen my property, and I've sold my car, and I still have employees who need to be paid. Okay, so folks, I mean, this is almost like a repeat of the 2008 financial crisis. Now, let me show you this. Doesn't this look, when there was protests going on during that 2008 financial crisis in Wall Street because certain institutions were bailed out while others were not. They were choosing winners and losers. There was people that were protesting, and this reminds me of a clip that I was watching of when people were protesting within the buildings, outside the buildings, because either they wanted to know what was happening or they just weren't okay with what was happening with these bailouts. And so this just brings back memories to that. Now, it's something to keep monitoring because it is definitely a situation which could have ripple effects, no pun intended, across the world, and first and foremost the Chinese economy. And so, here we've been discussing a lot of things that may lead to this next financial crisis, and we're keeping an eye out. I've shown you charts from other economists that are telling you, hey, there's a red flag here. You got to pay attention. Okay, and when it comes to, and we see, I've shown you charts that have been discontinued, the data points. And whatever the Fed is up to, what a convenient time to discontinue all of that. And now we have this Evergrande crisis in China. So, folks, prepare, prepare, because that's what's important. And the fact that you know this information ahead of time should give you, whatever time is left, to go out, buy something extra, that you can eat at a later time. Because, when the crisis hit, people are going to panic and they're going to go and take everything off the shelves. So buying a little bit extra when you go out there, would be a wise decision. Now, let's say nothing happens in the next couple months. At least you'll have a little bit extra there. If you have like canned food, well, you can just eat it. I'm not saying to go crazy. This is just something to get yourself prepared ahead of time. And so, with that being said, like and subscribe, share this video, let other people be aware of the situation as well. We want to share this information in order to have people be prepared and not get caught off guard when the next crisis hits. Because when it hits, it's going to hit and it's going to be worse than 2008. You best believe that. So what I want to hear from you guys is, what do you think this crisis can do? Or what do you think the effects will be, and how soon do you think it could come? Let me know in the comment section below. This is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.